Modern Warfare 3 Zombies is a very loot-focused experience, and getting said loot to help you out later on isn't necessarily easy to get all the time. Maybe you're gonna go raid a fortress, but you need some good gear to see it through. Or maybe you want to fill up that stash with some good stuff and save it for a rainy day. This farming guide is gonna let you come out of the exclusion zone with all sorts of goodies, from perks to crystals to ether tools, and more. There's two strategies I'm gonna be sharing in this video. The first one is what I'm gonna call the casual strat. This is one that's a lot more simple. You can passively do this one and it's going to yield some good results, and it's a lot less intense, if you will. And then there's going to be a hardcore strategy. This is where the big boys play. If you want to ensure that you're getting maximized loot drops every single second of the match, this one is going to be your go-to. There's some timing involved, there's a certain dance in order to do this, a routine if you will, but once you get it locked down, this will be very worth learning. I'm also going to split these up into chapters so you can choose which plan of attack you want to go for. And also, both of these can be done in solo or co-op. We're going to start with the first one, the casual strategy. So this strat can indeed be done in solo, but it's going to be considerably harder if you're not with a squad. And it doesn't even need to be a full squad, just at least one other person you can rely on. And if that person is just you in solo, then that's great. Okay, so for this strat, you're going to go into a match, and once you spawn in, you're not going to want to waste any time walking around or anything like that. Just open up your map and you're going to be looking for zombie strongholds, and most importantly, contracts. Your goal is to try and get to tier 2 or higher. If you can get to tier 3, then that's amazing, go for that. But if you don't have anything to stay afloat there in tier 2, like good weapon rarity or perk cans or crystals to pack a punch your weapon, then what you want to do is as quickly as you can, at the speed of lightning, you want to try and get enough points to be able to pack a punch your gun, do a few contracts to get that weapon rarity up, and make sure you can survive and handle yourself in tier 2. Considering it's 5,000 points to pack a punch, you'd need to do 2 contracts, which would give you 4,000 points in total, and then the other 1k I'm sure you'll manage to get whilst doing these contracts and slaying the other zombies, and head straight to that zone and start doing the higher tier contracts. On your travels in between these contracts, anything like zombie strongholds or those weird floating orb things, feel free to take care of them. They don't take very long, and from what I've experienced, they give some good loot. These are also going to be a good chance to stock up on things like ammo, armor plates, and equipment. As for the missions you stick to, any are fair game. Try and focus on the ones that you can do as quick as possible and that aren't going to be headache material. I'm going to recommend sticking to the zombie focused ones. Mercenaries seem too dangerous in the game right now. They're just a bit OP. The amount of pain they've caused me in such a short amount of time is downright diabolical. If you can handle them though, or if you're co-op and you've got a well coordinated team, then feel free to go for them. And when you're farming, you especially don't want to be doing all of that and then lose your progress and have to restart. I also find that their missions take longer because you're getting shot a lot, you're hiding in cover a lot, and the objectives are much more inconvenient to do. So the specific contracts I would recommend sticking to are anything that are only going to spawn zombies. Specifically, escorts, where you have to accompany the little truck and make sure it's not destroyed. Those weird egg ones where you get these devices, you crack the egg and then destroy it, and you repeat that a few times. And finally, the bounty quests. From what I've found out so far, faction-specific missions do exist. The zombie ether loot is going to give you things like perks, ether tools, wonder weapons, and ether crystals, whereas the mercenary loot is going to drop stuff like weapons, armor vests, gas masks, and other equipment like that. The zombie loot is the stuff everyone really wants to go for. You're going to be staying in the exclusion zone for the whole duration of the match, or at least until you physically have to leave. So we're looking at about 50, maybe 53 minutes per match, something like that. But if you feel like you've got enough resources or you just want to exfil early to get out of there, then feel free to do that. But to make sure you're getting the maximum amount of contracts done, to boost your chance of not only getting better rewards, but also being able to get more rewards, then you're going to want to stay in the match for as long as you can, like the loot pirate you are. If you really wanted to though, you could stay within tier 1, do those tier 1 missions, and you wouldn't come home empty-handed, but tier 2 and 3 is where I find it gets a lot better. This will be your easy difficulty. Tier 2 is more of the intermediate difficulty, the in-between, and tier 3 is of course the don't let the controller get too wet from your tiers difficulty. Tier 2 seems to balance risk and reward the best here, so that's what I found myself gravitating towards. But if you want to up the ante, get even more loot, you're gonna have to be putting your head on the chopping block and pushing into tier 3. I just want to reiterate, if you're doing this casual strat, it's best to try and do this as quickly as you can. Do as many contracts as you can physically do to make sure that you can keep getting those rift rewards over and over and over again. Once the match is ending and the storm is closing in, that's when you want to get out of there, and once you've exfilled, enjoy your precious loot. You can then continue this by making sure you can push to higher tier zones by using some of that loot, whether it be perks or crystals, to give yourself that boost and save more time getting set up. And more time saved doing that means more contracts, which then equals more loot. So to summarize, this strat is basically focusing on zombies only missions, with the only other activities in the world to do are zombie strongholds and the orbs, and even then you don't have to do them. You can instead put all of your time into contracts. You want to spam them as much as you can. But what if you want something more consistent? Something a lot more strategic? Well, this is where the hardcore strategy is lowered from the angels. This hardcore strategy is going to take some getting used to. You have to learn this routine. I found this out off of one of my friends. This is where the meat and potatoes of this pie reside. Because whoever miraculously engineered this farming strat, they are a big brain person. So here's the strat. When you go into your game, you're going to want to have decoys equipped. These are a must. And if you can't find them equipped, make sure you go into a match, exfil with them, and then they'll be unlocked to equip permanently. As far as weapons go, I advise taking one weapon with you, but leave in an empty slot. When you have just your fists out and your weapon stowed, you're going to be running at the maximum speed. You can get around this with stamina up, so if you have stamina up, it's not as important, but honestly, combining just fists and stamina up, you'll be the speediest guy in Urzikstan. So I'm going to strongly recommend stamina up as well as jug. You need the sprint speed to be able to outrun the zombies, because in tier 3 they want to eat your cheeks. They are thirsty and they will sprint really quick and they'll be really aggressive. So if you have jug and stamina up, these are going to help you out greatly. Lethals aren't the most important, but a throwing knife is recommended. This is because they can one tap dogs, and tier 3 zone dogs, they are feral, and a throwing knife is going to put them down really quickly. You can also use the seeker drones, throw them from a distance and they'll blow up. As for your field upgrade, ether shroud is the way to go. Say if you get cornered or put down to really low health, you need that failsafe in tier 3 of all places so that you can just poof out of existence for a while, let your health recover, armor plate up, or make a quick escape. Once your loadout is all in check, go into your match. You can do this solo if you want, you can do it co-op, it's completely up to you, but I always recommend having someone watch your back at least. When you spawn, chug all of those perks, equip any ether tools that might help you out or crystals, and you're going to want to go here on the map. This is an antenna that overlooks all of tier 3. No zombies can get you up here, and it's going to give you a huge advantage when it comes to traveling to where you need to go in tier 3. Once you're here, open up your map, and we're going to be looking for a cargo mission. You see, the cargo missions is only really about driving, meaning you're not going to have to deal with many zombies. We're going to be taking advantage of this and focusing on solely cargo missions. When you open your map, if there is a cargo mission there, you're going to want to parachute to this area, which I'm going to aptly call Sanctuary, because this is a safe haven. No zombies are going to be able to get you up here, and this is where the cargo mission spawns. So if you see it, parachute over to the rooftop Sanctuary. If there isn't a cargo mission, you'll instead notice that there is this escort mission, and if that's there and not a cargo one, parachute off of your tower, go over to this escort mission. My friend showed me a really easy route on screen, so you can get out of here before you get yourself in a pickle. You want to accept this mission, run over to this building that I'm going to, climb the ladders, and then zipline to Sanctuary. Make sure once the escort mission is accepted, you go onto your map and hold B if you're on PC, or whatever it is to cancel it on controllers. This is going to cancel that one and let the cargo mission spawn. Once you're up there, you want to wait for the cargo mission to spawn. It'll take about a minute or two. It doesn't take too long or anything. And when it spawns, or if there was a cargo mission there to begin with, you want to drop down from this roof, accept the mission, and quickly climb back up. This is where I noticed Ether Shroud came in clutch, because zombies swarm you very quickly. If you're concise enough, you can actually just go onto the second floor, wait for the zombies to run up, drop down, accept the mission, and then climb back up. However you do it, once you've got hold of that cargo contract, jump off of our safe haven rooftop, you can parachute onto this roof for a good view, and throw a decoy to get the horde of zombies away from the garage that you need to be at. When that's in effect, go and grab the cargo truck, and once you drive it, you want to follow this route route I'm going. And let me just say, I promise you it's not as hard as it looks. This is actually one of the easiest parts of the whole thing. You want to start steering off to the left, under the bridge, going past that wall by and driving straight over the wall. It's about as ridiculous as it sounds. You're not going to crash, you'll actually ramp straight up it. Then drive up this road, steer off at these rocks, and then all you have to do is go in a straight line, and you'll be at the drop-off point before you can say, wow, this was helpful, I should subscribe to The Exceptional Gamer. And once that's done, grab your reward. But it isn't over yet. To make sure that you can repeat this basic loot loop, you kinda need the decoys. If you have them, just get yourself back to the sanctuary rooftop and have a look if there's an escort mission there or a cargo mission, and repeat this whole thing again. If you don't have decoys though and you've run out, which you are gonna at some point, all you have to do is after you've done your mission, make your way to this police station in tier 2, grab the ammo deposit, and that will refill your decoys. And once you're all stocked up, all you have to do is come out of the police station and go just a few meters down this road. It's really not far at all. Like I'm doing here in this gameplay, I'm only going from the police station to this place, and that is a shed. This shed will have a teleporter in it. If you can ingrain this code into your head, then your trip back to the antenna tower is going to be a lot easier. Here are the symbols that you need to shoot in order. Try and remember these as best as you can, practice doing this a few times, and eventually you'll have these codes engraved on your brain. A teleporter is going to open up if you do this right, pay 1000 points to open it up, and once you go in, you're back at the tower, ready to start this loop again. This strategy is easier than I thought, but it also can go wrong pretty quickly. Although the loot slaps. You can stock up on tier 2 crystals and loads of useful perks and ether tools if you do enough of these, as well as wonder weapons and schematics. My friend managed to do this and picked up the new wonder weapon and managed to bag himself a ray gun schematic. And this is because not only can you get rewards so frequently, but also because it's a tier 3 zone, you're getting a higher chance to get better loot. You won't be able to lock this down first time. It took me a few tries to really get the flow of this, but once you do, it's worth learning and can help get you and your friends all geared up super quickly. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed or found this helpful and informative, be sure to smash the like button. Comment your thoughts on these strategies. Do you have any of your own strategies that work? And what is the luckiest drop you've ever gotten from farming? Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, you won't regret it, for more of these Modern Warfare 3 Zombies videos. Turn on the notification bell too to stay notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.